Hey, if the grid went down tonight and it were only 10 degrees outside, which one of these heaters could help you survive the cold? Today I'm going to show you 3 indoor propane safe heaters that could help you survive a grid down scenario in the freezing cold and keep you from freezing to death. So winter grid down isn't dramatic, it's realistic. From transformers going out to ice storms to fuel shortages, there are all kinds of reasons we could lose power in the winter. And so today we're going to go over three heaters that I have tested real world and owned that work extremely well. So a quick disclaimer, these are all rated for indoor use per manufacturer specification, but you should still use a little bit of ventilation, have a window cracked, and have a working carbon monoxide detector. So after that, you should be good. Let's go dive in. So out of the 3 heaters we're going over today, this is the smallest. And just a little bonus teaser for the end, we have some cool stuff for the larger one. So stick around and don't miss that. So this is the smallest out of all 3 of the buddy heaters, and it's very portable. This heater will work great for storing in small areas. If you wanted to heat a small room, so the room that I'm in right now is about 10 by 16 and it's fairly well insulated. But with no heat on this room, this buddy heater will heat this room to a comfortable temperature in just probably 10 to 15 minutes. So it does work really well and it's fairly efficient. So this will run on this propane cylinder for about 4.5 hours. So out of all 4 of them, it's the most efficient. That's one of the pros. Some of the cons are it won't heat a bigger room. So if you had a large living room, an extremely large bedroom, or a space like that, it's not going to do very well. But portable and efficient is where this shines. So let's get into number 2. Here's our mid-size heater. So this is 10,000 BTU. It's pretty close to the same as the mid-size buddy heater, but this is an Ozark Trail brand that I picked up at Walmart a couple years ago on sale for like $50. So this is an amazing deal. And this will actually heat a bigger room. It does eat a little bit more fuel on high, but this will heat a bigger room fairly decent. It'll definitely keep a larger room way above freezing in the freezing cold. We have used this thing to heat our hunting blind, and we've used it for heating inside rooms and all kinds of things, and this thing works great. So this heater right here is pretty efficient. The Ozark Trail brand is pretty good, and it's very cost effective, but it actually is not quite as efficient as a Mr. Buddy. But I do like this heater, so I definitely wanted to mention this, and it's about equivalent to the mid-size for BTU output. So this is a great option. It is indoor safe. It's a great option in this size range, that mid-size range. It's a single burner for, say, 12 by 16, 12 by 18, like a larger bedroom. This would heat it pretty easily, and this might even heat a smaller living room pretty well. So that's a great option. I would definitely think about that mid-size. And another thing that this does that the smaller one don't do is you can get a line and run this off a larger propane tank. So you could run this off one of the bigger 20-pound tanks or even larger versus just being able to run these small ones, and that's a lot more cost effective. So let's get into the next one. So we saved the best for last. We got the biggest, best, and my most favorite. This is the large buddy heater. This is 18,000 BTU double burner. This is Mr. Heater brand, and I have no affiliate with them. But this thing is great. If you want to up your winter survival for a grid down scenario, this is the package you want. And I did tease having some other upgrades for this thing that could really help. So let's start with the heater. 18,000 BTU double burner. This thing could heat a large living room. This could keep a fairly large space pretty warm. We've used this in smaller rooms, and you have to turn it down to 1 burner. It'll cook you out. And so it does take 2 propane tanks. It takes 1 on each side of the 1-pound cylinders. And if you run it on high, though, you're only going to get about 1.5 hours to 2 hours with 2 cylinders. So it does eat some propane. It's better if you hook it up. This will take the hose adapter as well for a 20-pound cylinder. That's the better way to do it. You can buy that propane a lot cheaper in bulk, and then you could run that tank and you could keep this thing going for like days. So this is an amazing setup. Now let's get into our bonus feature, all right? What I wanted to show you guys was this, and I'll put a link to all these in the description, as well as a link to some of these things I'm showing you. So this is a burner. If you haven't seen this before, this is meant for this, and it'll lock down right inside of there. And you can cook on top of this. And also, a lot of times when you order these burners, you can order these separately, but sometimes they'll come with it, and it's a temperature gauge, which is pretty cool. It'll tell you how much temperature you're running and how hot your burner is. And you could cook your can of beans or whatever it is you want to cook right there. When it's freezing cold out and you're heating your house, you can also cook. But then you have this option as well, which I'll put a link to one of these as well. This is a thermal heat, or a thermal fan. This actually heats up and creates its own energy from the heat. Start spinning and it'll circulate the air, and you would be amazed at how well that works. No batteries, no electricity required, and these will start spinning. It'll actually take this heat and it'll push it throughout the room. It'll circulate the heat without batteries, and it works extremely well. You can notice a big difference when those are pushing air and how well it pushes that heat through the room. So you got that, and you got this as an option, and they make a couple different styles of cook burners for these. But this is great. This does also take batteries and has fans built in, but honestly it takes D batteries and it doesn't push that much air. This right here by itself works a lot better. It's fairly inexpensive. I want to say these are like $20 or $30 for the fan setup. The burner plate wasn't that bad. It was around $25 or $30. And for that, you could circulate air and cook on this thing, which makes it next level survival setup. So one more thing I want to talk about before we finish up, but you can also buy one of these. They make different styles. They make a hose style, and you hook this to a large tank, and you can refill your small tank. So you just screw your small tank in, you turn your large tank upside down, and you open your valve, and it actually has a gauge on it to show you where your fill level's at. So then when you shut your valve off, it'll show your fill level and your gauge for your tank. So that could be a way to save some money. They don't recommend you refill these style of tanks, which I have, but you can buy tanks like this that are meant to be refillable. So keep that in mind for cost. So if I had to only choose one, I would definitely take the larger buddy heater with all the upgrades. I mean, this is the perfect package. It's flexible. You can run it at one burner on low or double burner on high. And I mean, you could heat some space with this if you needed to. It's a little more efficient when you drop it down. You could heat smaller areas. It also you have fan options with the burner. This makes it a great package, but realistically, I would prefer to have both the large one and the small one, because now you got this to heat a larger area and to cook on and to move air with the fans, but the smaller one could take the edge off a little bedroom or an area that you were going to stay. So also very portable. So that gives you a couple options, but I would definitely take both if I were gonna set up for any kind of a scenario, which you can see I've got 3 and I love them and use all of them. So if you want to see more on my winter survival setup, just drop some comments down below and we can talk more on this, and I'll do some more videos on this stuff. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hey, so we added the BTU rating and comparison chart to all the Mr. Buddy heaters, so you could pause this section and look it over if you want to do some comparison.